Many plants evolved to administer harm on their unsuspecting predators, employing chemical or physical warfare in a fight to survive, such as the thorns of a cactus or the poison of a deadly nightshade. However, in some instances, the antidote for the attack grows less than a metre away. In this video, we will explore the reasons for this counterintuitive growth pattern. Found in Mexico and parts of South America, Metopium brownae, known locally as Chechen, has been a formidable warrior against humans for many years. From afar, the tree appears as a grey trunk with black sap streaks. Despite the regular appearance, the bark and leaves contain an oily substance known as urushiol. Upon contact with the skin, urushiol oxidizes proteins in skin cells, evoking the tissue damage responses and consequently a localized immune response. This culminates in a painful, blistering rash, which appears a day after exposure and persists for 2 weeks or more. The oily nature of urushiol makes it incredibly sticky. The narrowest encounter would enable it to stick to clothing, skin and tools, and once contact is made, it's almost impossible to wash off. Besides, you're not going to find a sink in the middle of a jungle. Worse still, those with sensitive skin have been known to experience the symptoms of Chechen contact by merely standing in close proximity. However, rest assured, often only a few centimetres away, you can find the Bursera cimaruba, known locally as Chaka tree. Ironically, its appearance with reddish-brown and flaky bark seems more dangerous than Chechen. But do not be fooled. Simply by rubbing the leaves of the Chaka tree over the affected area, the inflammation from the Chechen can be alleviated. It's believed that several bioactive chemical compounds combined to produce a powerful antioxidant, which stops the damage caused by the Chechen tree. When I first heard this story, it reminded me of a childhood fable relating to stinging nettles and dock leaves. The humble stinging nettle is an understory plant growing in damp environments, and you'll often feel it before you see it, thanks to the trichomes. The trichomes are hollow pointed cells on the stems and undersides of the leaves, which pierce the skin thanks to the tip made of pure silica. The nettle's sting delivers irritants such as histamines and formic acid to the surface layer of skin cells, creating that all too familiar itching sensation which will seemingly never end. Often to arrest the moaning of a child, a parent will hunt for a dock leaf and rub it over the affected area, assuring the child that this will stop the itching. The dock leaf, appearing as a large oval with rounded tips, offers solace for a stung individual, thanks to the cooling effect of sap evaporating from the skin surface. Despite numerous studies trying to find anti-inflammatory compounds within the dock leaf, none have been identified. This leads some people to believe that any large leaf would be sufficient when treating nettle stings. However, people have conducted experiments, including comparing lettuce leaves to dock leaves. From their arduous itching, we can conclude that the dock leaf is the best cure. So it's likely that there is some bioactive compounds that have yet to be discovered. Before looking into the theories of why these plants grow together, I thought I'd illustrate that this is a worldwide phenomenon by showing an example from North America. Poison ivy works similarly to the Chechen tree, since its main attack is urushiol oil, creating a characteristic rash. Often growing near poison ivy, one can find a vibrant plant with orange spotted flowers known as jewelweed. The jewelweed sap from its stem or leaves can be applied to the affected area to reduce the inflammation and pain. Many commercial jewelweed containing products are available over the counter and marketed as effective poison ivy dermatitis remedies. Consequently, lots is understood about the mechanisms through which jewelweed works. Saponins, which are contained within the jewelweed, are theorized to emulsify the urushiol oil, rendering it less capable of causing the immune response. What's more, the compound lawsone is a proven COX-2 enzyme inhibitor. This is the same enzyme which is targeted by ibuprofen, and hence one can imagine that it results in reduced inflammation and pain. The reasons we see plants growing together is due to their environmental preferences. For example, the Chechen and Chaka tree thrive in humid forest environments. Poison ivy and jewelweed are both suited to moist, semi-shaded areas such as floodplain forests and forest edges of marshes and bogs. Singing nettles and dock leaves both thrive in nitrogen-rich soils and disturbed areas. If we go into this further, the Chechen and Chaka tree are often so closely localised that the roots and trunks are intricately intertwined. A great theory that explains this is parallel seed dispersal. Essentially, the fruit and flowers of both trees look very similar and become targets for the same birds. The seeds from both trees are then deposited in the same place, which explains why the trees take root so closely. But just because these plants are destined to live in a similar place, that doesn't justify why we see these antagonistic effects. There is a potential placebo in their actions, especially when considering the stinging nettle and dock leaves. Perhaps the assumed effects of the dock leaf are providing reassurance and distraction to the affected individual. Most poignantly, the existence of an antidote for a particular ailment may not be so rare. The antidotes we are aware of could merely have propagated in popular culture due to co-localization, with many other plants potentially capable of the same effects. Whilst some placebo effects are likely playing a role in exaggerating the effects of each antidote, there is a chemical basis for these actions which cannot be understated. As mentioned with the Chechen tree, an individual could be affected by standing a few meters away for an extended period of time. Online speculation points to a seemingly obvious point that in order to grow in the same environment, the Chaka tree would need to develop a remedy against urushiol to stop itself being affected. The only glaring problem with this theory is that urushiol doesn't affect plants. Urushiol evolved as an antimicrobial defense and is used to protect against herbivory. Perhaps if any of the microbes or herbivory agents, such as beetles and caterpillars, are necessary for the life cycles of jewelweed and the Chaka tree, these organisms would need to provide an antidote for the urushiol effects in order to grow in the same environment. When finding the perfect antidote, you may need only look a few meters away. Perhaps we shall conclude that it's merely a coincidence to find an antagonistically acting plant nearby. Since many plants share the same growth conditions and all have a varying arsenal of chemicals, it's very likely to find one that will act against our poisonous plant. Whilst potentially a coincidence or placebo, there is also a strong argument for evolution bringing antidotes exactly to the poisonous plant. It would be useful for the microbes which are beneficial to other plants to be killed off by the poisonous plant, which would then enable the antidote plant to selectively protect the microbes which are beneficial for its own growth. Effectively, antidotal plants are exploiting the poisonous plants by allowing the poisonous plant to create lesser competition in the environment for themselves to then thrive. Overall, we can explain the close localization of these contradictory plants through their evolutionary pathways. Having evolved together to favour the same environment, each pair would need to adapt its chemical arsenal to optimize their performance in the presence of the other. In these cases, the plants have evolved contradictory effects. I hope I've made the world of plants a little more interesting for you. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more curious content.